So now we've had response in the paper, which is good, a couple of letters, and now we're starting Plan B, and that's why we're here today. Let's just visualize that Extrafoods is open today. And we used to get 2 flyers in the paper. One was the Canadian Superstore, and the other one was Extrafoods. They were identical. All food prices were roughly the same. And as the week went on, you found Extrafoods used to have items a little bit cheaper than what the Superstore was. So I figured this might have been for Mr. Bell trying to do a good deed for the citizens here. But also in these flyers, they had Customer Appreciation Day, where if you bought $25 worth of items, you got 10% off. If you bought $50, you got 15%. But it's so ridiculous that this company, Loblaws, would go to all the trouble to open the store as No Frills. Well, No Frills to me is a bare bones type of store, nothing, and the food prices are no cheaper because I've done a test. I bought 11 items at the No Frills store on January the 11th, and I went to the Superstore and bought the same 11 items, and there was a difference of 31 cents. But let's bear in mind that the people working at No Frills are on lower income with no benefits, whereas the Canadian Superstore make pretty well what they've always been making. So to me, it's just corporation greed. All they're thinking about is this kind of thing.
Obviously, you've been instrumental in organizing this effort here in the community of Maple Ridge, and you've done an amazing job at bringing different parties together on this issue. Obviously, it's affected you and the way you shop and the way you live and how you think about how you live here.
Definitely.
What do you want to come out of this? What's the overall objective here for you in this?
Well, I'd like to see the store left as it was before. I've talked to so many seniors, and you see them walking around with their wheelchairs, with their buggies and things, and the walkers. And I've talked to one particular lady, and she's got quite a limp, and I used to tell her it looks like things are moving with hallelujah, she'd say, hallelujah, that's all we want is this store. And I've been told people have gone over to London Drugs to do some shopping and in the Save On Foods, and they've literally practically collapsed, and they've had to get a taxi home. Well, this isn't right for the community, and that's why I got involved with this. I understand if they did open up here as No Frills, they'd keep the pharmacy going as a test thing, and then it's bound to go over good because it's the seniors, and then they'd put it into their other stores. So that's getting away from the No Frills idea.
Do you think this impasse can come to a reasonable resolution, given what you know of the corporate interests and the community interests?
Well, I'm hoping so, but I think the sticky part is Mr. Bell, he calls him the owner-operator. Well, it seems as though he's just basically the manager, you might say, a glorified manager. And if he opened his mouth, he'd cut his own throat and he'd be out and they'll put somebody else in. But I am going in to have a talk with him and say, look, Doug, I feel, because apparently even Joanne has said this, he's a nice guy. And we all feel that he hates what he's doing, really, and he'd like to walk in that store, say good morning to his employees or whatever, and carry on like he always did. He did put a letter in the paper that it was one of the hardest times of his. So this is the sticky part about it, and I think if he really stood up to the plate and would speak up, this would make a big difference.
And he needs to hear that there's a groundswell of support behind him.
Agreed.
And I understand he's in a really difficult situation to act on your behalf. But what you've done is you've taken citizenry, you've taken local government, and you've pulled them all together.
That's right.
And sort of pushed this issue to the fore.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
Hi, I'm Janet. I used to work for Extrafoods about 25 years ago in the deli. I earned about $14 an hour then, and several years later when I retired and moved to another area, I saw a new Extrafoods opening and I got a job there, only to find out the wages were $8 an hour 25 years later. I think that the management there can afford to pay more. I love working at Extrafoods. I love the people. I think the produce and products are good. I think it's sad that we don't have Extrafoods here in Maple Ridge for the elderly who used to walk there, and it was convenient for them, and the prices were better than some of the other stores. And I think there's a lot of unfairness there, and I feel sorry for the workers. I think they deserve more money, and I hope you'll give it to them and make us all happy.
I live at the Legion Tower, and I don't drive. I walk all the time. If I need a major grocery, I have to go either Save-On or Safeway or Superstore, and that's an awful long walk. Times are good, but there's certain times that I can't do that long walk, you know, because of my condition. And there's people here that take cabs and because they can't walk that distance. So, pretty well, you know, we made an awful inconvenience and expensive for all of us around here. Yeah.
Paul, do you think it's going to be resolved soon, this issue?
I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue. Every time I talk to somebody, I always end up with no answer whatsoever.
Does that frustrate you?
It does, you know.
That you're kind of left in the dark?
Because we never hear anything from the company or the workers there, you know. Yeah.
It's extremely negative. This is a huge community of senior people, and I would say more than 50% have to walk to get their groceries. They live in retirement type community, and it's difficult. A lot of people use walkers and the motorized wheelchairs, and they have to go about a mile through the winter. It was dreadful. Well, 2 winters now, and even for ourselves, where we would leave the car at home, now we have to take the car out. It's been extremely hard, and hard for the employees who are all just very community orientated. It's only affected me in the sense that it's inconvenient. I have to go someplace else to shop. We were shoppers at Extrafoods since it opened. I used to work there in that mall, and we were even there before it became Extrafoods. It's right outside our back door. We live in Legion Housing.
And do you often shop? Do you shop at Extrafoods?
No, we don't. We shop at supermarket. We're still able to get around wherever we want to go by driving ourselves. So that strike really hasn't affected us in any way whatsoever. And really, all we really know about that strike is what we read in the newspapers and basically what we do now. I think a lot of people are misled by union. I'm not saying that unions are the scourge of man's life, they're not. But I think that they whip people into a state of mind that's more favourable to the unions than it is to the workers, because it's been a long strike, and they'll never recover what they've lost.
We've lived in Maple Ridge for 18 years.